Thank you so much, friends. We've been on the island for a number of days now, and we started off our tour of the island talking about how we could protect the coast. We talked about investing in families who can't afford housing and how important that is to tackle the housing crisis across Canada. So we made announcements around investments to support families right away with rental subsidy, commitments to protecting the coast. That means helping protect wild salmon, the Coast Guard. And today we will want to finish off our tour of the island by committing to investing in ferries. BC already has an agreement with Canada with respect to funding and financing the ferry system. The ferries are incredibly important for people. It's like the way to connect for so many residents on Vancouver Island and on the rest of the coastline. So we want to invest more. We know that the cost of taking a ferry is a lot, and it's difficult for a lot of families. The BC government has taken some strong measures to make life easier by reducing the costs, by making it easier for seniors, but we want to take it a bit further. So we're announcing a $30 million investment to boost investments into the current existing agreement with BC and the ferries. We know this will help with more service and lower costs. This is exactly what families need, and we want to make sure that we're there for them. Unlike Mr. Trudeau, who instead of protecting the coastline, bought a pipeline and is threatening a 700% increase in tanker traffic. Someone like Mr. Trudeau, who doesn't understand that there is a housing crisis. He's not invested money. He spent 19% less than Mr. Harper even spent on housing, and has neglected the very important ferry system without any real commitments. Minister Garneau talked about it and said, signaled that he might be interested, but never really followed through in 4 years. Unlike Liberals who just talk a good talk but don't deliver on action, we've committed to real action to improve the lives of British Columbians with real investments in housing, defending the coastline and in the ferry. Donc aujourd'hui, on a annoncé, on a fini notre propos pour la côte. On sait que pour les résidents, les citoyens de Colombie-Britannique, ils sont s'inquiétés de l'environnement. Donc on a proposé des mesures pour défendre la côte, pour protéger les saumons sauvages, mais aussi pour protéger l'environnement. Et en fait, au lieu de M. Trudeau qui donne des belles paroles, mais les promesses vides, il a promis de faire beaucoup pour l'environnement, mais il a acheté une pipeline. Et aussi, il menace la côte avec une augmentation des transports dans la mer qui va menacer la côte avec un fuite de sable bituminé. On a parlé de comment on peut protéger les familles qui ont besoin d'aide pour loyer un logement avec une allocation pour les locataires. Donc, nos propos sont là pour les familles, et finalement aujourd'hui, on a proposé 30 millions de dollars de plus d'investissement pour aider les traversiers, parce que c'est tellement important pour les gens de connecter avec les traversiers. Donc, on a proposé aujourd'hui, on annonce une augmentation de financement. Merci encore, et si vous avez des questions, je suis prêt.
Yes, Annie with CBC.
Hi.
You have made a number of BC-specific announcements. First, you mentioned RCMP funding for a designated anti-money laundering unit, then you talked about protecting the coastline, and today this. But you still have a bit before provinces. Why so much focus on BC, and specifically, tax breaks and other proposals for BC residents exclusively?
Well, we know that BC is a province that's struggling with a lot of specific challenges. The money laundering initiative that we want to put in place is something that we're seeing is very prominent in BC, and we want to tackle that problem. It's something that has an impact across Canada, but we know it's particularly having a massive impact here in BC, and that's why we want to put forward a solution to that. We know that BC is also a province that also feels neglected. Being on the West Coast, a lot of times people feel like they're ignored, and I want to make sure people in BC know that I've got their back and I'm in it for them, and I want to make sure that they know with me as leader and as me as Prime Minister, I'll make sure that the environment is protected, the coast is protected, and things like the ferry system get the financing and the investments that it needs. Oui. Donc, en général, la Colombie-Britannique, beaucoup de temps se sentent comme négligés par le gouvernement à Ottawa. Ils sont loin d'Ottawa, donc il y a ce sentiment que beaucoup de monde, les gouvernements à Ottawa, les conservateurs et libéraux, ne s'inquiètent pas des enjeux qui touchent les gens qui habitent à Colombie-Britannique, en Colombie-Britannique. Donc, ce que je propose, c'est pour s'assurer Je veux m'assurer les citoyens ici que je suis ici pour vous, je me bats pour vous et je propose des solutions pour investir dans le logement abordable, pour protéger l'environnement et la côte et en fait pour mieux investir les traversiers.
Your campaign has spent a long time in Ontario as well as in BC. Do you think that these are the two areas that your party is going to do best, and is that why you're focusing your resources on those two spots rather than going to say Alberta or Saskatchewan or PEI Newfoundland?
We're running a national campaign and I'm looking forward to being in every part of Canada. I have the honor of being a national leader and it's my job to represent all of Canada and I want to do that. There's places where we've got lots of people and lots of target ridings, but most importantly people that need a lot of help. And in BC we know there's specific issues that are impacting the coastline, they're impacting the people that are worried about money laundering. There's very specific issues that we want to tackle. And we know that in helping those issues here in BC, it'll help people across Canada. Spending time in BC and Ontario also, I think ties in the fact that I was an MPP in Ontario, so I know those issues really well and I've got a lot of deep roots there. And now being an MP representing BC, I've got some strong ties to BC as well. So that's part of why I really care deeply about these two provinces, but I care about all of Canada and you'll see us in every province. Why it's so important to do? Right, yeah. So a one-way ride on the ferry from Victoria to the mainland for a family is $90 for two people and a car. It's quite costly, and for people on the island, the ferries aren't just a ferry. They're really like a highway. They're how people connect with one another. And some people live in remote communities, and this is their way to get to the big city for services. This is the way to get to communities where they need access to the things they need in their lives. So it's costly, and the BC government has done some really strong and taken some strong measures to make it more affordable. But there's an agreement already from 1977 between Canada and BC, and that hasn't been renegotiated in a long time. And so we want to increase funding to make sure we keep up with the times and assure the people of BC that they're getting the supports they need. Oui, donc pour une famille de type 2 personnes, une voiture Victoria à Vancouver par exemple, c'est à $90, donc c'est trop cher, c'est difficile et c'est tellement important pour les familles d'avoir une connexion entre les autres endroits. C'est vraiment comme une autoroute, les traversiers connectent les communautés. On a de temps en temps des communautés plus isolées, donc c'est vraiment important d'avoir cette connexion. Well, I mean, Canadians expect to have someone who's going to stand up to Mr. Trump, and for a long time we haven't seen that. You know, we've had a trade agreement where we lost protections for workers, employment, labor standards, and environmental protections were not enforceable. We lost crucial protections in the supply management, which has hurt dairy farmers. The cost of medication is going to go up because of this newly negotiated agreement. And there was illegal steel tariffs and aluminum tariffs that continue to be imposed, but were not removed. I mean, Canadians don't want someone who's just going to cave into the demands of Mr. Trump, who's going to back down from a bully. I believe the only way to stand up to the bully is to be strong. And I'm willing to be strong, I'm willing to stand up, because Canadians depend on me to make sure that their best interests are being served, and I won't cave into anyone. Je pense que les Canadiens ont besoin de quelqu'un qui peut lutter pour eux, défendre leurs intérêts. Et ce qu'on a vu dans les années passées, c'est un gouvernement libéral avec M. Trudeau qui a en fait donné beaucoup de cadeaux au M. Trump. Il a en fait diminué les protections pour les travailleurs et travailleuses. Il n'y a pas de protection pour l'environnement dans cet accord. Les médicaments vont coûter plus cher à cause de cet accord et on a des brèches dans la gestion de l'offre qui va avoir des grands impacts sur les producteurs laitiers. Donc, les Canadiens et Canadiennes veulent avoir quelqu'un qui peut se défendre les intérêts des Canadiens, qui peut défendre les intérêts des Canadiens et qui peut faire face à un intimidateur. Et j'ai le courage de le faire. Je n'ai pas entendu la question.
Le chef conservateur introduit un passe la journée en alternant avec Jason Kenney.
OK.
Comment percevez-vous cette alliance?
C'est un exemple fort de ce qu'on va voir avec les conservateurs. En Alberta, Premier ministre Kenney a coupé les services pour la santé, a coupé les services pour l'éducation. Il a fait mal aux familles, aux gens. C'est clair que c'est exactement ce que les conservateurs, ce qu'ils font. Et ils travaillent pour les plus riches, ils aident les plus riches et il fait mal aux gens, aux familles, aux monsieur, madame, tout le monde. C'est exactement ce que Ford a fait en Ontario. En Ontario, il a coupé les services de santé, les services d'éducation et c'est exactement ce que les conservateurs font. On veut défendre les services, on veut aider les familles. Ça, c'est le grand contraste. I would love to see that. I think we absolutely need to make sure we're putting the skills and the abilities of Canadians to their best use, and that's to ensure that public resources and public transportation is being retrofitted in Canada so we can ensure that Canadian jobs are being protected and encouraged. I also want to see our shipbuilding strategy enhanced so that we're building more ships in Canada. We've got incredibly talented folks and we should be building these beautiful or these ships that provide services for Canadians here in Canada, here in BC, in Quebec, in Halifax and across this country. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.